Hey guys, so I thought I'd show you how I make a homemade apple pie crisp. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is a bunch of apples. I just have a whole bunch of random apples. And they have been in the refrigerator for a while, so they've kind of getting some bruises on them. They're just getting a little soft, and they're not going to taste that great to eat, but they're perfect for cooking with. So what I'm going to do is get all of these apples peeled, and I'll be right back. I just wanted to show you real quick how I'm cutting these apples, and it is kind of tedious work. If you know of a better way to do this, feel free to leave me a comment and let me know, because I like making this pie, but it takes forever to get these things peeled. And by the way, I find it doesn't really matter what kind of apples you're cooking with. I have a Hosh Posh right now. I don't even remember what I bought. They were just whatever's cheap and on sale, and they turned out to be kind of a softer apple, which my husband didn't care for, and I'm not the biggest fan of soft apples just for like eating them raw, but they should be fine to cook with. I don't think they're going to taste any different. But anyways, what I'm doing is are you in focus? There we go. I'm just using an apple core, and then I'm taking a slice out of the apple, and I'm peeling it, and then I'm tossing in the pot. Oh, I am cutting it in like half. Cutting them in halves after they've been sliced and peeled, and then I'm just tossing them in the pot. So you can slice these however thin you want to. You can do more than big hunks. You can do little hunks if you want to. I personally like big hunks of apple and pie. That's what I'm doing. You cut them up however you want. But what we're going to do is get all of these apples cut, tossed in the pot, then we're going to add about a cup and a half, 2 cups of water, and we're going to put it on to boil. And I'll be right back with you. Okay, so our apples are done, and now all I got to do is add the water. Normally I go just above where the apples are, so I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I'm using bottled water because we have nasty egg water. I mean, it's okay to cook with, it'll probably be fine, but I just don't feel like using it. That's one bottle. Put in one more. Oh, I just dumped water all over myself. Wet t-shirt contest. Woohoo! You can see where the water is coming up. It's about level with most of the apples. So. And this was about 8 apples. I don't know how big that pan is. It's a decent size. It's the biggest one I have. But you just pretty much want it up high enough so they can all get coated in water. And we'll just turn it up and let it boil. And cover it. So, put your lid on. Okay, so my water's not quite boiling yet, but I figured I'd go ahead and start putting in some of the spices. And I brought you back to show you what I'm putting in. So, okay. When I cook, it's mostly like a Hosh Posh. So I literally just went through my cabinet, and anything that smelled sweet or that I knew was sweet, I just grabbed it out. So I've got my allspice, some cinnamon, some ginger. We're not going to put a lot of ginger in. Last time I did this, I put in quite a bit of ginger. It still tasted good, but it felt like it was going to burn my mouth. And I think it was because of the ginger. Or ginger. Sorry, I can't talk. Then I've also got my nutmeg. I've got some cinnamon sticks. I've got some cinnamon sugar. More cinnamon. I'm not going to use this much cinnamon. Well, I'm going to use a lot of cinnamon, but... And some pure vanilla extract. So I'm going to start off with my cinnamon sticks. Got like 2 in here, so I'm just going to toss them on in. Yeah. It's a good thing to use cinnamon sticks for, right? Making pie. When I first got those, I was like, what am I going to use cinnamon sticks for? I don't know, but I'm going to buy them anyways. And then I decided to make a pie, and I was like, having an apple pie feeling. I need to finish my words. Oh my goodness. Sorry, sometimes my southern accent just comes through. I spent like 4 or 5 years of my childhood in North Carolina, and sometimes I just start talking all southern, I guess. I don't know, but like I don't finish my words sometimes. So we're just going to add some cinnamon. And I just like toss that stuff in there. I don't really measure. And got a bit of the vanilla extract. I'm just going to squirt some of that in there. And I know some of you out there is going to be like, well, how am I going to know if I'm getting enough in here and how it's tasting? It's best to start off small, and then when it gets closer to getting done, you can taste it. And you'll know if you need to add stuff to it. My great-grandmother lived in Tennessee. A big portion of my family comes from Tennessee. And this is how she taught my grandmother to cook. This is how my grandmother taught my mom to cook. And this is how I was taught to cook. Was you just start putting stuff in there you think is going to be good. And kind of go from there. Now my other grandmother was born and raised here in Indiana. Her mom was the same way. Northern cook, and there is definitely a difference between a southern cook and a northern cook, one of which being a northern cook measures everything. I've never seen my grandmother on my dad's side just like take a pinch of this and take a pinch of that. No, everything gets measured. Everything gets measured. So I don't know if maybe that's just how that side of the family is, or that's really how all northern cooks are, but I'm assuming it's just, you know, a northern thing. Because, yeah, like, I've got aunt still in Tennessee, and she cooks the same way, just a pinch of this and a dash of that, and there's no real recipe. And then my aunt on my dad's side, my dad too, they were all, you know, everything got measured. So I figured it's just like a north-south deal. And I kind of grew up with the best of both worlds, so... This is our allspice. I'm gonna go kind of light on this. I didn't use it last time. I don't think I had it. But it smells sweet, so I figured we'd toss it in. Here's our ginger. Is it even coming out? It looks like it's getting clumpy in the bottle. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's thunder in here. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of this in there. I'm not going to put much more than that. Yeah, it's thundering. We're getting a storm. This is the only thing I hate about living in a trailer is when it storms. I hate it. We had tornadoes come through here last November and just demolish half the town. Not really half the town. It's probably like a fourth of the town, but still took a good hit. And now every time we get storms come through, I'm like, oh my god, we're going to die. So, got some cinnamon sugar. Really, this recipe, you're going to go pretty heavy on the cinnamon and on the sugar. So we're just going to give that a good stir. We're going to let that all cook down, get all the apples good and soft. And a lot of your water will start to evaporate too. And then we'll give it a taste test and see if we need to add anything. Also, you're noticing some of my apples still have little bruises on them. I didn't worry too much about taking off the bruises. It's not a huge deal. So... it's all going to cook down. It's all going to taste the same. It ain't going to really matter. But I'll bring you back when I'm ready. Okay, now that our house smells amazingly of apples and cinnamon, they should be ready to go. And we can put them in our pan. So I'll let you have a look at how mine is, and I'll put it in the pan and let you watch me put it in the pan. Sorry, I thought I saw a spider above me on the ceiling and I was about to freak out. That would have been some good entertainment for you guys because me and spiders don't get along. So anyways, I'll show you the pie filling. Okay, here's my apple pie filling. And it's starting to get stuck to the bottom of the pan there. I got a lot of my water cooked out of it, which is good. That's what you want. Just all soft and mushy. And then go ahead and put it in our pan. Turn off my oven real quick. You can stare at me while I turn this off. It's mine. And I did go ahead and put a little bit of honey in there. I just wanted to see how it tasted. So, I don't know. I just tossed it in. I'll leave in the links below everything that I used to make this. So if you decide you're interested, you can run out and grab some. So we're just going to take this and pour it into our baking pan. I just got a big glass one out so it'll hold everything. And just plop it all on in there. Okay, so we've got everything in our baking dish. And I'm just pushing it all around to make sure every last bit is covered in the pan. Now, you can always use a smaller pan if you want, but I'm okay with a larger one just to make for a thinner cobbler or pie or whatever you want to call this. I guess there's no pie crust in here, but that's okay. Down at the bottom, so I guess it's more like a cobbler. But you're going to want to make sure you take all your sticks. You want to get all these cinnamon sticks out of here. We can go ahead and toss those. There's one. Number 2. And there was a broken hunk in here somewhere. So I'm going to find that and dig it out, and then I'll show you the next step. So I forgot to mention I already turned my oven on. It has been preheating this whole time. I currently have it on 450. We're going to bake it at 350 for probably about 15 to 30 minutes, maybe 45. I don't know. We're kind of guesstimating here, so we'll see how long it takes to cook it. Shouldn't take that long. But now that we've got all of our filling in the pan, we are going to take oatmeal, and I'm using the cinnamon sugar, or cinnamon and spice oatmeal, and we're going to sprinkle this all over the top of our pie filling. This is what your pie is going to look now that you've put all the oatmeal on top. I used 5 little packets of these. I don't particularly like eating the cinnamon and spice oatmeal as oatmeal. Same with the brown sugar oatmeal. You can also use that. Really any flavor oatmeal you want. The apple cinnamon oatmeal would work just as well. You can even use like plain regular oatmeal. I don't have any of that because I don't like that either. I like the fruity kind. So I saved this back for baking. So I've just covered my whole pan with oatmeal to cover up all of the apple. You can use as much of this as you want. You could have done 1 pack or 2 pack, or I used 5. You could do more. You could do 6 or 7. I think that'd be a little excessive personally, but it is your apple cobbler pie, whatever. You eat it how you want it. But next we're going to take butter, and we're just going to, you can either melt butter and pour it on top, or you can put butter, like spoonfuls of butter on top, or you can even take a stick of butter and put little butter pats throughout the whole thing. And I have this fairly thick, so I am going to want to, like, I'll probably go ahead and melt some butter and pour that on top. It's just going to work better to get it all over the place. So I did a little over 1 cup of melted butter. There's the 1 cup. We're just a little smidge over it, not much. And we're just going to pour this all over the oatmeal topping, and this will help give it a good crunch to it. Just going to kind of do it like that. There we go. That'll be pretty good. And then I figured I could take some honey and drizzle some honey on top. I just think it'd be good. You can do as much as you want. Don't really matter. You can do a design. I'm just kind of going back and forth on it. You get a nice drizzle. And then we're going to put this in the oven to bake, like I said, for, we'll probably start it out at about 15 minutes. I mean, the apple pie filling's already cooked and ready to go. We just need to get the topping cooked and ready to go. So we'll check this out in 15 minutes and see how it looks. It's time to check on the pie. Yay! Are you excited? It's pie, so okay. Have a look. Sorry I don't have a light in my oven. I know some people do, but my oven's really old. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. That's after 15 minutes. There's still a few spots around the edges here that are not quite cooked. So I think I'm going to push those down, and we'll put it in for another 15 minutes. We're just going to push that down so they get moist, so they cook. And we'll put this back in for another 5 minutes. And then it should be done. And our apple cobbler is done, or whatever you want to call it. My aunt wrote a cookbook. She has this exact same recipe in her cookbook, except for it's actually a pie, and it's got a pie crust underneath. This one didn't have a pie crust underneath, so call it a pie, call it a cobbler. Doesn't really matter what you want to call it, because it's delicious, and it's good, and it's done. There we go. Good and done. You can have a look-see at the bottom there. Got all that good apple stuff going on. You just dip it out and put it on a plate, and there you go. So I hope you guys try it. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment below. And I will definitely leave the ingredients in the comment box in case you guys watch this and you want to give it a go. So you'll know like how many apples I used, all that fun stuff. And you can go grocery shopping and get everything you need. So let me know what you think.